It's just one of those podcasts. And guess what, Vogie? William.
One of those names. I go by all of them. What's up, Ryan?
I am not wearing my coat today because it's actually warm out.
This is true, man. It's one of the first days we're recording, and it's actually above 60.
Yeah.
It's like 65, 70 out there.
Like, I know you enjoy your cold, and I appreciate that.
Oh, dude, if I could sleep in an igloo,
oh man,
I'd sleep in an igloo.
I just can't. I can't do it. I'm not a cold kind of guy. I'm not a Wim Hof, go out, in my underwear and meditate in the ice. I can't do it.
I don't think I could go that far, but I do have like an extra layer of insulation, so like, I appreciate the cold.
Yeah. Anyways, what's going on?
Well, not a whole lot, dude. Just working. A lot of work.
I meant today. What's going on today?
Oh, what's going on today?
Yeah.
I mean, we're recording shit today.
With the podcast. What's going on with the podcast?
Oh, you want me to go there?
Yeah.
Well, this small little trailer came out yesterday. It's not even a trailer. It was a teaser or teaser trailer, whatever you want to call it. Small little teaser. Now, mind you, this is in the trailer. The end of the saga. The teaser trailer for the new Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Yes.
Episode 9 comes out.
Episode 9
comes out in December, but they gave us our teaser. They gave us our teaser yesterday because I guess Star Wars Celebration's going on this weekend.
Yeah.
So
we assumed that's when the trailer would drop.
Yeah,
around that time, and it'll be in front of Avengers and all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're gonna whore out this thing all over the place. So that being said, I already kind of have a feeling I know where you stand with this.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on this new Star Wars trailer we got?
Well, you know what you should do is you should pull up the trailer if you can. Can you do that while we're recording?
Yep, we can do that.
All right, and we're just gonna do like a play and pause kind of thing, and we'll just talk about it as it goes on.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Just minimize.
I will say that just like as a teaser, I mean, just for like in the general sense of a movie, like there's nothing wrong with it. But
I felt like it gave a lot with not giving a whole lot away. Like if you actually look at what's actually in the trailer, there's hardly any footage at all.
Oh yeah, there's like it's practically nothing.
There's practically nothing in there, but it kind of gave you quite a bit.
But I mean I enjoyed the teasers for both Force Awakens and Last Jedi way more than this one. The teasers.
I gotta be honest, I don't even remember the teasers.
Oh, you don't remember the teaser for Force Awakens? When it's like that snow, it's a shot that's not even actually in the movie, which is stupid.
That's
but
most teasers.
Yeah, it's that shot from behind Kylo where he's like walking with the cloak, and then he like puts the lightsaber out, and you see like the like hilt guard, for the first time, and everyone online was bitching about it.
Well, that's what the internet does.
Yeah, that's true. I've sort of turned a new leaf in my life. I don't know if you know this, but I'm just trying to be more positive about things. And not complain about things as much. I'm going to complain today.
I was going to say, you're going to shut it off for about the next half hour or so? Or?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I want to let people enjoy things, right?
Okay.
So even if it's not for me or if I don't like it, I don't need to go, like, online on Twitter and just bash it for no reason. Because a lot of people do that. A lot of people, like, put hate in Twitter or, like, YouTube comments and stuff for like no reason. Like
I feel like it's unjustified sometimes too. Like where is it coming from?
I
think it's just people having a really bad day for whatever reason.
So I'm trying this new thing where like I don't do that. So that's why I didn't talk about it on social media or anything, because I was just like, I didn't really like this teaser, but I'm not gonna rain on anybody's parade just to like try to stand out and be like, all you peasants like this, but I, the intellectual, did not. Like,
dude, if you were like that, I don't think we'd hang out.
Yeah, probably not. I wouldn't hang out with me.
It'd be just weird.
However, since we're talking about Star Wars in this podcast, I'm going to just kind of give my rare raw thoughts, but in no way does it mean that anybody listening or watching should not enjoy what they enjoy. Just want to preface it with that.
That's you're just throwing that out there?
Yes.
Fair enough. And I don't know why this is the Ireland trailer. I'm just gonna.
Neat. Ireland trailer.
All right, it's in here somewhere.
Oh my God. Is this your history?
That's my subscription. Or yeah, my subscribe box thingy. I think my YouTube actually works, unlike most people's YouTube. It actually, I don't get a lot of people's I don't want notifications, but at least when I hit my subscriber list, it brings up most people's videos. So
yeah, I never hit the bell icon on anybody. I don't like. I'll watch it at my own free time. I don't need notifications that people are uploading videos.
Yeah. Seeing as YouTube's like my main form of TV, I'm on there all the time. So if I want to see it, like I'm gonna see it. I don't necessarily need to be like, it's not something I do in my spare time. It's all I do in my time. So, but anyway, all right. So let's start this up.
Okay.
And you tell me when you want to pause.
Okay. Starts out with some heavy breathing, which is kind of hot. Okay. And yeah, like the first half of this trailer is literally nothing. It's just Rey just standing there in a desert.
Yeah, as I said, there's like hardly anything. But I think a good teaser, this is all it does. Then we have a...
Yeah, I mean, it's a teaser, so...
Yeah, I don't expect a whole lot to be in there. You have Luke talking over everything.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go, dude. The first crack of a lightsaber.
I mean, I do enjoy me some lightsaber cracking. But that's not... that must be a new lightsaber because the one she had broke.
Yeah, I mean, but they're talking about like... Luke's talking about like all this knowledge. We've given you like 1,000 blah, blah, blah generation or whatever of knowledge. So I imagine
she's... pause it.
I imagine she's built one by now.
All right. So I don't understand. I don't really like this backflip going onto the ship here. I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? Is she gonna like try to break through the window or something? And it's a cockpit built for one person, so it's not like she can fit in there even if she did break into it. Is she just trying to jump over it? In which case, why was she standing in the field for so goddamn long just waiting for it to get there so that she could jump over it?
I figured she's just going to jump over it and then just lightsaber it down the middle and split that thing in half.
I mean, I suppose.
That's where my mind went.
That's some poor planning on Kylo's part, though. Like, why would he just, like, drive straight towards her if she's got all these force powers? Like, without...
Dude, come on. You've seen the last two movies, right? When has Kylo ever made a good decision?
Dude, I'm right there. I totally agree with you.
Not pissed off. Like, that dude gets pissed off, makes really poor decisions.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that... I didn't even catch the fact that it was Kylo in the seat, if it was.
I'm assuming it was. I thought it showed, like, a small clip of his hands or his... whatever.
Let's see.
Somewhere where he's driving towards her. It must have been before then.
People watching the podcast, those are going to hear it's like the same like 5 seconds over and over because I'm trying to
We're analyzing the teaser, right? So.
Yeah, well, I guess that's how it goes. All right.
Desert.
Is
it Tatooine or is it Jakku? Who knows? They're the same planet.
See, I no part of me got Kylo from that. I just got some...
Just random dude.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably some dude, but at this moment in time, I'm like, it's just some random.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels. I don't know. It just feels weird. Like, why is it just out in the middle of nowhere? I mean, I guess the movie will answer that question for me, but.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
she's like,
see, I just figured. See, and then she's just gonna like rake down the center of that thing. Now we get.
All right, yeah. I mean, that shot's fine.
Helmet getting repaired, yeah. New robot.
Yeah. All right, pause.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this, dude. I have a feeling that here comes the complaint train starting right here.
All right, now, dude, I got no problem with Lando. All right, I got no problem with him as a character or whatnot. But here's the thing, like, I feel like they're putting him in there just to, at this point, to try to mellow out the waters of the fandom. Like, look, we got another character that you guys like. We're going to bring him back now after 2 movies where we could have already brought him back. But there's a lot of people that don't like Star Wars so much right now. So we're just going to throw in characters that you know and love.
Yeah. But see, to be fair, they already had tried to throw him back in there.
Okay.
And it just did not pan out. It was bad.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is a new thing. It's not like they were like, oh, man, shit's going down. No one likes Star Wars anymore. Bring in the heavy hitters. No, they were trying like a movie or two ago, and it just couldn't fit them into the line. You know, that being said, it does kind of feel like that. I think one of the more funny comments I read down below in some of the buildings, it's like, oh, yay, another legacy character that they brought on so we can kill them off.
Yeah, probably. Okay, and the whole thing, it's just like, now, you know, I didn't like The Last Jedi that much, really. Like, actually, the more I only saw it one time in theaters. I probably should owe it a rewatch, just to, like, because I probably forgot a lot of stuff. But, like, wasn't the whole point, and this will actually, like, be a bigger point at the end of the trailer, not more so at Lando. It's more at the thing at the end.
Okay.
This isn't really directed at Lando, but wasn't the whole thing about the last movie like forget the past, like the past doesn't matter. We're starting over. Like the new characters are the important characters. Like we're supposed to be passing on the legacy, you know, to these new characters and everything. But really, at the end of the day, everyone just cares about the original characters. Like seeing Lando, people are like, "Holy shit, Lando!" If you put Poe in that same shot, you know, I mean, people would not care, not as much.
Some
like that.
would, but not nearly as much as people excited about seeing Lando back.
And it's kind of like the new characters that they've built. I don't think that they have enough strength to like carry the movies themselves. Because I don't feel like they've shown that in the movies. Like I feel like so much of it still revolves around the original characters. Like so much of Force Awakens was Han Solo. So much of Last Jedi was Luke Skywalker. And if it's supposed to be so important for these new characters, I mean, I don't feel like they've really gone on much of a progression, like much of a journey. And it's just like, and to like cover that up, they're like pulling back the old characters like as much as they can, you know. That's what it feels like, at least.
I don't see, this is my problem with fandom sometime. If they tried to swap out, like give you the old and swap in the new, and they only did it in Force Awakens, everybody would be bitching. If they took their time, which I think is what they were trying to do, and I think they ran into some holes that, one, I don't think, I think they tried to be heavy-handed, and with the amount of director swaps on Last Jedi, I think there was a big problem between what the story was in the first one and the initial view that they had for it versus what we did end up getting in Last Jedi was not what was intended. Because if you watch the end of Last Jedi, you could pretty much just have squashed it there and ended it.
Yeah, actually, and that's actually another point I wanted to bring up is that I feel like the main issue with the new trilogy, the new Star Wars movies, is that they did not have a plan from start to finish with these movies. They didn't have a beginning, middle, and end.
But I feel like
at the start,
I feel like there was, though. But between the director swaps, the writer swaps, I don't think they I think somebody was just like, no, I'm doing it this way. And the problem is it didn't line in with, because now I feel like, now I'm gonna complain. Now I think this movie is gonna be a lot of retconning. They're gonna go back and they're gonna make things that weren't.
Yeah, and that's that's a problem.
Weren't a part of it now be a part of it. And I guess back to what I was trying to get at. Like, dude, Disney was screwed either way. We were gonna bitch if they didn't like. Look, I think at this rate, and it really just annoys me, is I think at this rate, unless there was like this big scene where like Luke just like wipes out the Empire with his own like hands and just like whips a lightsaber and kills off everybody, no one's gonna be happy.
Yeah, well,
like, and that's all people want. They just want Luke to have his big moment, and then like for all they care, like let him go sit somewhere and never, and pass it on that way. Like, that's boring. That's the way to. Like, I'm sorry, that's the easy way to go, and they didn't go the easy way, and it's not exactly working out. But like, I guess I'm getting at is like, it didn't matter. If they tried to move out, in my mind, I think they were trying to slowly move and switch over to the new characters instead of trying to do it all in Force Awakens. If they would have and I think they were trying, and it didn't work. Some characters just fell flat, and they didn't catch on like they thought they were. But like, if you had 3 movies and 1 saga, and use the last 3 movies to slowly pivot out of the old and into the new, you've had 3 movies with the new characters and 3 movies where the old characters kind of getting not pushed to the side, but kind of not as much time with them, and we spend more time with the new.
Yeah.
They could end that saga and then reboot with the new. I think that was...
They could have done that. I mean, well, you're right 100%. I mean, people are going to bitch no matter what. Like, no matter what you do. I mean, it's too big of a franchise that... everyone's going to bitch no matter what it is.
But what I hate is, like, we get I'm sorry, say what you will, but Force Awakens was I've said this ever since I watched it, was the greatest hits of Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
They plucked from the original 3, or the original, well, I call them the original 3, but, technically there was those 3 in the 90s that I don't want to talk about, but... They plucked from like all the good parts from like the first 6, and then they threw that and made a greatest hits album in the 7th. And I mean, I really enjoy Force Awakens, and I think a lot of people did. But then there was some complaints. Well, why didn't you do this? Blah blah blah. And then they tried to do that in Last Jedi, and then everybody was like, well, why didn't you do this? Like, why pick one direction and stick with it, people? Like,
yeah, well, I think that's the problem. Is that they didn't plan out as much as they should have for the 3 movies. And if they're going to have different directors, and if you're going to do the director swapping and stuff, then your directors need to be on board with what the overall arcing story is. Like, your first movie needs to tie into the second movie and the third movie. Like, it needs to all make sense as one flowing story.
Right.
And I don't think it does. I think it's like real. I think Force Awakens and Last Jedi are really, really disjointed with each other. Like, you can tell there's 2 different visions going on at the same time. And I think that makes it... I think that made it very rocky. And now going into the third one, I really don't know what to even... Like, I don't even understand what, like, the overall story of these movies is. Like, because in the original trilogy, it made sense because it's Luke Skywalker's journey of... discovering, like, he wants to get out, he wants to go on adventures, and he wants to, be useful, grow into his own, become a man. Like, it's a coming of age story, right?
Right.
And so then he finds his mentor character and he learns about the Jedi, and then he's like training even deeper, and then he learns he's connected to the lineage because he's the son of Darth Vader, and it's like, holy shit. And then he trains and becomes a Jedi master on his own. Then he goes in to face his father, and he's facing him not by fighting him, but by like showing him like the good way. Like, and then that's a story arc for Darth Vader too, because he's introduced as this like horrible tyrant, and then you learn that he was once a good man, and Luke changes him back to be a good man at the end. And it's this like whole flowing story that like every like part 1, 2, and 3 all make sense together. Like, it's all one, and then it wraps up perfectly, which I think is another problem for the new trilogy, because Return of the Jedi wraps up everything. It's done. The story's over, and then all of a sudden Force Awakens comes out, and now there's this new First Order that came out of nowhere, Snoke, which is he's never explained. All this stuff kind of happens, and it just felt like, well, we need to make new Star Wars movies now, so let's just make something. But it didn't really like make sense to how the original trilogy ended, and it doesn't have like a flowing story of its own, or at least I don't feel like it does. So then that's a lot of pressure on Episode 9, because now we need to wrap up what exactly? Like, what are we wrapping up? Like, I don't know. I don't know Rey's journey. Like, I don't know, like, she's already really good at everything, and then she trains with Luke but doesn't train with Luke, and she's still really good at everything. She hasn't suffered a defeat. She hasn't, like Luke did at the end of Empire Strikes Back. He's fucked up. His hand gets chopped off. He gets like
there was none
destroyed, right?
I think they went the opposite direction in Last Jedi. So instead of her having a down, and instead of her having the Empire Strikes Back moment, they more or less went with the oh shit, I have this power, like this untapped potential that I didn't realize I have, and I've like I'm finally managing to wield it. Like, I think that's the direction they went in, and I know, but I know everybody wants the Empire Strike Back moment. I get it.
Well,
but that's just not the way they went.
I just want her to earn it. You know, that's all I want. Like, she doesn't need to, like, the same thing doesn't need to happen to her that's happened to Luke, but like, I don't feel like she's earned any of it, you know? Like, I don't feel like her struggle has been hard enough. Like, I don't feel like she's gone through much of a struggle, you know? She kind of, I mean, she goes to train with Luke and doesn't really train, and then she goes to Kylo. I only saw the movie once, so correct me if I forget things about Last Jedi, and she goes to confront Kylo, and she manages to just like fuck up everybody without much of an issue, and she's like an even match with Kylo, which is fine. I like those two characters kind of being on the same level, but I don't know. I just don't feel like she's gone through anything difficult.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know, because I sit there and I don't. Why does she have to go through something difficult to have the abilities that she has? Like, why does that got to be a thing?
Not to have the ability she has, but just like as a character, as a journey, like for me to care about what she's doing.
I mean, ultimately, the first two movies, she's been searching to try to figure out who the hell her actual parents are. That's been her thing since the beginning. You know, and then the fact that she has these abilities on the side, that's just a little extra on the side. So really, her whole thing is, I just got to figure out who my parents are. And due to, as you talked before, poor planning, which I think they're gonna retcon. I have a feeling they're gonna tweak history here because
Kylo tells her parents were nobody significant, right?
Right.
But is that like factual or is
no?
She,
because dude, if I'm trying to turn somebody over to my side, I'm gonna piss them off to the point where like you know, everybody that's tried to tell you these things, they're all long, they all lie to you, they all this, they all that. Like I want you to be pissed off at those people so that I can get you to like embrace the anger and come to the dark side. It makes complete sense for him to say and do that. People hated that, but it makes sense. It made sense to me because like if I'm trying to turn somebody to the dark side, I'm gonna make it like I'm gonna tell you that your parents were nobodies. Yeah. Everybody's been lying to you. Like you're nothing. Like they all lied to you. Because then that's just, you may be mad at me for a while, but that's just fuel to the bringing you over because there's somebody else pulling the strings that, you know, I chopped in half easily like 5 minutes ago, but like, but there's like, and we'll talk about that again.
Yeah, we're going to finish this trailer.
Because there's a part the part at the end of this trailer that kind of
that's
like throws a wrench into the whole idea. But ultimately there's somebody else pulling the strings. Like, so my thing is like, you know, him doing that makes obvious sense to me. It didn't to a lot of other people. Not that it didn't make sense, but people didn't like that. They didn't want that kind of explanation, but I get it. I mean, she's good at what she does because she's done nothing but like fight since she was a little kid because she didn't really have parents. So I can get like, they both can fight, but they're nowhere near what some of them are. And I put that to the fact that like Luke tried to like kill Kylo like halfway through his like training, so he probably hasn't had the right training and the right build up to this thing. He still struggles back and forth between whether he's on the good or the light or the dark side of the Force all the time. So has he really truly embraced like one side or the other? So like it's not like a Vader who's like, by the time we see him, he's been like chopping dudes' heads off for years now. Yeah, this is what he's
killing
doing.
Younglings,
like killing younglings. Like, dude, this guy, this is what he was like. This is what he is now. We don't have that. We just have a teenager trying to figure out what he is, and so like, I'm okay with it. I go along with it, but so like, I don't know. I don't understand the. But I've said this to you many of times. I'm always gonna like defend Star Wars, and it's not because I'm necessarily sitting there going like, "Oh, Last Jedi was a masterpiece, dude." Like, what the hell's wrong with you? No, I'm not saying that at all. I just like lightsabers. I like lightsaber battles.
I like lightsaber too. I like lightsabers too. I do.
I like seeing things in space and fighting. Yeah. So I'm gonna defend it because I enjoy it. Whether I think it's good, like, is it like, the cure for cancer? No, but I enjoy it. Like,
yeah, and I mean that's fine. I mean, I enjoyed The Force Awakens. I mean, to an extent. I have problems with it, but I mean, I think it's fine. The Last Jedi, I guess I only saw it once in the theater, and there are scenes I like in the movie a lot, but as an overall film, nah, it didn't do it for me. And so there's like so much, like now I'm just like Episode 9, like what the hell is it gonna be? Like it's just very, like I said, like I don't know what the story of this trilogy really is. Like I don't know what the underlining meaning of it all is, like I do with the original trilogy. So Episode 9 just has to give me that. Like I have to feel, if I feel at the end of Episode 9 that it all culminates and wraps together and 3 movies make sense together, then I might might warm up to the new trilogy more. Right. But with just 2 movies now, I feel like they don't go together at all. I feel like they're like polar opposites almost. Like they just don't feel like they fit. I don't feel like there's this, like a story in there, like an overall arcing story, not like just little things that happen throughout it. But we'll see. But anyways, we should probably continue the trailer.
The saga comes to an end.
There's some explosions. 3PO.
Poe.
Don't know what that is. Leia.
Which I'm pretty sure is just recycled footage.
Yeah. Okay, and we hear Emperor Palpatine laugh at the end there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we get our title, which is The Rise of Skywalker.
Which could mean a lot of things. I guess we could get into that too. Again, the Palpatine thing. Like I feel like it's just like, let's just bring back more old characters to like hey, you remember Palpatine? Like instead of just going forward with the new stuff and like presenting new stuff to us. And again, like wasn't like the theme of Last Jedi like let the past die? Like so like why are we bringing this back? But just hearing Palpatine laugh doesn't necessarily mean that Palpatine is like, it could mean a lot of different things. It could mean that Palpatine's just a Force ghost. Like he could be dead and he's just a Force ghost. It could mean that he's survived, that he's around. It could be like a scene. Like we really don't know. Like hearing a laugh.
And in this day and age, when you have Darth Maul that still is around and he's just got electronic, everything, like I'm not.
Palpatine.
I wouldn't be. Mecha Palpatine. I wouldn't doubt if he's like hanging around someplace. But like,
and don't get me wrong, dude. I love Palpatine. Palpatine's awesome. Like he's the best part of the prequel trilogy. Like and he's great in Return of the Jedi. Like I love me some Palpatine. Don't get me wrong. That like wrinkly old cackling bastard. But
it is pretty good, man.
Yeah, but if he's somehow like, I hope he's a separate entity. I hope he has nothing to do with the First Order. I hope he's just his own thing that they encounter in the movie, and he's not like the mastermind behind all of this stuff. Because like, then again, like I just feel like it's like insane retconning and poor planning from the get-go. Because then what the fuck was Snoke all about? Which I guess we'll never know. Because they set up this whole new First Order, whole new like army of villains, whole new like Snoke and everything. And if all of it is controlled by Palpatine, then like none of that we establish matters. Like none of like the Snoke thing. Again, I feel like they were on 2 different wavelengths with both movies, because Force Awakens is like Snoke is important, and Last Jedi is like, let's just kill him off extremely easily. Like I don't feel like it made. Like, where did he, like, who
Yeah, but when that movie came out, we all were talking about he's probably a puppet. Mm-hmm. Like, that was like, not a new thought that he was going to be a puppet. So the fact that he was a puppet this entire time and it's been Palpatine pulling strings, I would go with it.
I don't know. I didn't feel like that when I saw Force Awakens. I didn't feel like I felt like he was the dude in charge and that he had some kind of power. And we see, like, sort of a display of his power in Last Jedi, but I don't know. I feel like then why even have him at all? if that's the case. But
because if Palpatine's a ghost, he's got to have somebody pulling the strings in the physical realm.
I mean, I suppose. So yeah, Palpatine. So, I guess I don't know. I feel like it's just again like just going back to the well and just like let's just bring back other things that.
But what's all? But that's all. Yeah, but they're going back to the well only because most of fandom has been bitching about the fact that they didn't go back to the well. Like
probably, probably that's what they're doing. They're retconning.
There's no way people. They're like, I'm sorry, you lose your complaint card when you complain. Disney's like, okay, and they go back to it, and then they're like, well, I mean, Palpatine. Like, why would you do that? Like, you asked for them to go back to the well just because you don't like what well they went back to. Like, this is why you shouldn't complain about them going back to the well. Like, but I mean, yeah. I think there's also a whole bunch of other factors that happened that I don't think they're telling the story. I know it looks like there wasn't a lot of planning. I feel like there was more planning than we think there was. I do.
Okay.
Just because that first movie came, when you watch Force Awakens and then you hear like what J.J. Abrams was talking about, like it seemed like there was a pretty good, there was going to be a direction to it, but then for whatever reason he didn't end up doing the second one. He wasn't on board as much as I really wish he would have.
See, I always thought that they had always planned to do 3 different directors for each movie and that JJ left Force Awakens as open-ended as he did because someone else was going to take over.
I thought they were only talking that way because at the time there was contract issues.
I don't know. Well, I don't know
because that was about the same time he got handed Star Trek as well. And he was doing Star Wars and Star Trek.
Well, do you remember that the guy that did Jurassic World was supposed to do Episode 9 originally?
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah,
like
They
were gonna have like a different director do each Star Wars movie, and I thought that JJ like left it open because of that.
But then that leads me to understand that they were planning a lot further ahead than we give them credit for. Because if they knew they were going to do 3 directors and they had 3 directors in mind, they already knew somewhat what direction they were going in.
I mean, possibly, unless each director had a different vision for what they were doing. Like, I don't know, you know.
Which is what we got with the second one, because they kept kicking them to the door.
Yeah, that's what it feels like is that they were just like on 2 different wavelengths. Like I don't feel like the movies fit together, I guess is my problem.
You're right. They hardly fit together, and you got to work really hard to make them fit together because there may be all I would say is there looks like in story that they're trying to tell there is connection, but tonally it's two different movies. They like. Does that make any sense in my mind? In my mind, it makes sense. For you, it may not.
Yes, they are 2 different tones, but I also feel like it's like 2 different stories also. Like I don't feel like there's a thread line between them. Really, I don't feel like
Rey's still looking for her parents. She was in the first one, and she is in the second one.
Yeah.
She's still figuring out the Force. She was doing that in the first one. She's doing it in the second one.
Yeah, but nothing's changing though. Like she's
Kylo Ren is still trying to live up to living up to being Darth Vader. He was doing that in the first one. He's trying to do it again in the second one. That's basic as all get out, but I guess what I'm saying is like. Her deal is her trying to find her parents. She was been doing that for the first 2. Kylo Ren's thing is I want to be Vader, but I want to be better than Vader, and I'm still not that. Even though I've killed my father, I killed my own father. I've tried to take down the only other dude that probably could take me down. You know, so. And I'm still not that person. Like that's been his like drive and his thing. So I think you're gonna see
wasn't like I mean I don't remember, but wasn't like the whole like him smashing his helmet in Last Jedi, wasn't that like some symbolism from like him not trying to be like Vader anymore? Like wasn't Snoke like, you'll never be Vader, you're not Vader, and then so he turns on Snoke and like becomes his own thing. So I guess Kylo kind of has a character arc, but
yeah, I mean that happened, but I mean you're seeing the helmet getting repaired, so I mean,
yeah.
I mean, but see, to me that's part of his process of becoming, wanting to be Vader, if not better than Vader, is he's gonna run into some moments where he's gonna get told that, and then he's gonna be flipping shit because he's like a young idiot who still doesn't understand everything going on in the universe. As I said, he's still going back and forth. He doesn't know which side he's on. So like,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what. See, as I said, I will defend even if it's not really. It's really bad storytelling. There's not a whole lot of arc. What little like smidgen and nuggets of story are there, I will defend because I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like all these movies, like from the get go, like from starting to do new Star Wars movies, a new trilogy and whatnot, it's so difficult because Return of the Jedi, like I said, it ended everything. Like everything is wrapped up. Like the story is over. And so to make new movies, you just kind of have to just make up stuff and just make stuff happen, you know?
Yeah, but how hard is it to think that 20 some odd years after, 30 some odd years after those movies, that another like empire or another thing like that would come to into fruition?
No, I guess I mean more like I don't want to say symbolically, like the story of Star Wars, like the story of like the hero's journey that Luke goes on, and like, you know, like finding out his father and reforming his father, like, and ending the empire, like ending. It's like mythological in a way. It's like I mean, I don't know the word I'm looking for. It's like a story you'd put in a Bible, you know, like a Bible of Star Wars. There was a Bible of science fiction.
It's a classic. It's a classic story.
Yeah. So, I mean, could I imagine that some kind of military force organized together and then restarted a thing? I mean, yeah. I mean, I could buy it, but it's still like just feeling like we just need to make new stuff. Like let's just make new stuff.
Like you spend 1 point some odd billion dollars on it,
and that's the thing.
What are you gonna do? Like just be like, oh, we ain't gonna do anything with it. We just bought it just to have it. Like you spend 1 point some odd billion, no, it was more than that. I don't know.
Like $3 billion, I think.
It's like 2 or 3 billion.
Yeah,
maybe more. They spent a lot of money for it. So.
And that's the thing. Like I guess at the end of the day,
isn't every single movie like, hey, we bought the rights to this movie, we got to make money on this?
Yeah, that's the way of the world.
That's every single movie.
Yeah,
like come on.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna get mad at Disney because they're like, we bought Star Wars, we spend all this money on it, we got to make some money off of it.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not. I mean, as a business, no, that makes perfect sense. It's just like coming up with a story, coming up with something that like. They to build off of what they did.
But when but we're just gonna revert back to the fact that if they would have just left the 6 alone, let's say they don't touch episodes 1 through 6, they just leave them be. That's the end of that. Then Disney comes out and they do their own, like the Solo movie, the independent movies that we're getting. They start a new one.
Yeah,
no one's gonna go to those. No one. We may go to the first one because we're like, yay, more Star Wars.
I was going to say, Rogue One made a ton of money.
But it's all within the same... that movie still happens within... What, that happens between 3 and 4? That movie happens between 3 and 4 and still has Vader ripping apart people in it, which, let's be honest, I really like Rogue One. But I also will sit and watch that entire movie just for the 30 seconds of Vader walking down a hallway and ripping people apart.
Yeah.
So even that movie was right in the same vein as 1 through 6. Like, if they would have left those alone, not made any movies anywhere near it, and rebooted it into a whole new world, just call them like Star Wars. This is really bad, but like, Star Wars Presents or Star Wars,
Yeah.
And tried to do their own trilogy, it would have like we would have Star Wars would have been done then. Like, I don't think anybody would be going and seeing those movies because it's not. I guess I'm saying is they're damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Yeah.
Like, this is the route they took. We just have to be okay. Like, not be okay with it, but like,
yeah.
If we want Star Wars, this is what we're getting. And so, like, yeah, I that's just kind of where I'm at. Like, I want more Star Wars. This is the Star Wars I'm going to get, because I think any other route, if they would have tried to take it, as much as we don't want them to touch the original 6, if they had tried to go any other route, I think we would have just like piled on it and it would have never seen. They would have halted, and I feel like they would have done like 1 or 2 movies, and then they were like, let's go back to the well. Let's go back to the well. Let's just go do what they want to,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess my problem is that, like, because I never needed new Star Wars movies, and obviously they're going to do it. Obviously, yeah, Disney bought the rights for a reason, and they're going to make movies and, whatever. And it's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like, I was good. I was content. I was good with I'm good with the original trilogy. I mean, the prequels, I don't know. I kind of like Revenge of the Sith. I do.
Dude, there's a good movie out of those 3 that if you hack enough out of 1, 2, and 3 and put them together into one movie, there's a really good movie there.
That's true, yeah.
But as it stands now with 3 separate movies, no, they're no. That, and you got to wrap your head around the fact that Padme and what's his face there,
Anakin.
Anakin, thanks. I'm tired. I had to think about it. I'm like, what's his face? I know he's Vader. What's his face? Okay, so Anakin and like that situation, you have to wrap your head around the fact that he was like 2 in the first one, and by the third one, they're in like this relationship and like doing stuff. Man, like,
get that older woman, dude.
I mean, kudos to him, but like, you got to wrap your head around that one, and that one's like that's one to wrap your head around.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why they did that. They should have just started him off as a teenager like they did with Luke. It would have made more sense. Anyways. Yeah. But anyways, I guess we'll just see how it is. Maybe it'll be an awesome movie. Maybe I'll love it.
I mean, as I said, am I like running like... Am I running to like wanting to like waiting for the day where I can buy my ticket? No, but like, am I gonna... Dude, it's Star Wars. I'm gonna go see it regardless. Even if you told me like that, like Jar Jar Binks turns out to be the main character of it all, and
that'd be awesome.
They just bring him back, I'd still go see it. Like,
Yeah.
Because part of it would be like, oh man, let's see how bad this one's gonna turn out. So, but I don't know. Dude, I feel like it goes back to the like.
And I wish I felt like that. I do. I wish I was one of those people that like could watch a movie trailer and cry because they're so excited or passionate about. Like, I wish I could, like, with anything. Like, maybe not even necessarily Star Wars.
Dude, come on! I saw you roll a little tear when you saw the John Wick 3 trailer.
Okay, that's probably true. But
I mean, maybe not a tear, but like excited in other ways. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You get excited about shit. You just,
I wish I could, and because like I feel like Star Wars used to feel like this like special thing that only came out every once in a while, and it was like a big moment. Like, I remember being 10, 11 years old, however old we were when the Phantom Menace came out. And I remember going to see that with my parents, and like, I might be exacerbating it because I was a little kid, but in my mind, that was like one of the best theater experiences I ever had, because everyone was just so excited and everyone was shouting and screaming about how awesome it was. And I remember when Darth Maul got sliced in half, everyone was like, ah, like yelling, and like it just felt so special. Like, it felt like this event, thing. and the other ones kind of felt like that too when they came out, and Force Awakens did too to an extent. But now there's just like there's a Star Wars movie every year, with the other like Rogue One and Solo also, like it's like and I don't know, it just doesn't have the same weight for me. Maybe it's because I'm older and like maybe I just don't care as much. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But it doesn't feel like as special as it was. Now it just kind of feels like there's another year, another Star Wars movie. It doesn't feel like this thing. This like symbolic amazing thing that's like we get every once in a while. It's like, oh shit, Star Wars. Now it just feels like here's the next Star Wars.
Yeah, but sad. I think I know, but I think I felt like in an alternative universe there was a way that we'd still feel that way about Star Wars, because I'd agree that there was like this excitement about another Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like going and seeing Menace in theaters, but I don't necessarily remember any of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So there were big deals, but not as. But I think that goes back to like the idea that like when those movies came out, my dad was excited to take me to go see it because he had his Star Wars, and this was going to be our Star Wars,
right?
And then like, I mean, technically, like, we could be old enough to have those kids that this is going to be my kid's Star Wars.
Right.
So, like, I get it, but, like,
mm-hmm.
You're right. It doesn't hold the same, like, weight as it does, but I feel like they could have, if they would have done it right, and not necessarily right, but if they would have done it well enough. I mean, Marvel puts out how many movies a year generally? 200-300, somewhere in there, like once every week. And there's still like this excitement level of like.
There is, but I mean, I think the difference is, I think probably when the film started, obviously Star Wars is much, much older, and two, Marvel's, you got your like individual character films, and I couldn't really see you doing that with Star Wars. Maybe you could. I don't know. Maybe they could try that.
What, individual character films?
Yeah,
they already tried.
Well, they did. Yes, but that's what I mean. I feel like that's a lot of the difference of it, because with Marvel you can still get excited about like individual characters, movies. And Star Wars is just like, it's just Star Wars. If that makes any sense, I don't know.
The problem with doing Star Wars movies based on characters is like when push comes to shove, the like depth to the Star Wars world isn't that deep. Yeah. I don't feel it's that deep. Like, I mean, you think about it, the heavy-handed amount of like story and like the huge backgrounds on all these characters.
Yeah. That
a lot of people know as common knowledge didn't come from the films. It came from, like a lot of the things I laugh at, a lot of the things I know about came from when we used to play Star Wars tabletop.
Okay.
Wikipedia books, the comics, like there's
dude, actually that's a good point, is like why didn't they pull from any of that? Like, there's like all like the Star Wars novels and stuff that continue the story in different ways. Like there's one where Luke has a wife and whatnot.
There's
Jade or whatever. Like
my understanding is there is one where Luke goes to the dark side for a little while.
Right? Yeah. Like so they have all of this source material that they could have pulled from, but they didn't.
I mean, they like, I think they pulled some very big ideas. Like there is some books where Luke opens up his own. He like opens up his own academy, and like things go awry there, and then he ends up getting married at one, or gets with somebody at one point, has kids, and then there's like ones where he goes to the dark side for a little while and kind of goes that direction, and then at some points, like after that, he kind of pulls from both, depending on the situation and what he needs to be. Like he's just really wishy-washy. Like there's some of those in there, but I mean, but most people, I feel like the huge like background and knowledge and all of that comes from those books and people wanting to know more. If you were to just base somebody's like the depth of a lot of characters just based on the movie, you don't have a whole, like, how much would you know about Han Solo had there not been any of the extra stuff around the films?
Yeah, and I really didn't need that extra stuff when I finally got it.
I mean, but not film related. Like, how much stuff would you know about Luke had there not been like the comics, the books, anything else about it?
Right. Like I pretty much just go from the movies.
It's not.
Like,
it's and this is not me saying that Star Wars is bad movies. I'm just saying they're not. How do I say this? They're not. It's not like they're the most in-depth, like, huge story-weaving movies. They're really not.
It's good guys and bad guys.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And so, why make Star Wars more than what it was in the past? You know, I guess, you know, I don't know. I go with like, so I mean that kind of goes to the new ones. I'm like, simple story. He wants to be better than Vader. If not Vader, she wants to know who her parents are. Why are we making this any harder than it has to be?
Yeah, I guess
it's not like the ones before it were any deeper than that. That is, you know, like, I guess that's just kind of where I come from, where I'm coming at. So when I'm very like okay and ready for the next one, that's where it's coming from. It's not. I
got you.
You see what I'm saying? It's not like I was like, you know, it's one of the best written movies of all time. Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, it was.
No. I mean,
very simple.
Yeah, they're not the best written movies ever. I mean, especially if you go back to the original New Hope. But I mean, maybe I'm making more out of it than it is because we watched them when we were kids and yada yada yada. But I feel like there is a deeper meaning in the original trilogy. Like, I feel like there's lessons in there to be learned with Luke's journey and what he goes through.
I'm not saying there's not lessons to be learned. Yeah. Like, there is definitely lessons to be learned, but the way that they gave you those lessons, it wasn't like this really heavy, deep, like heavy-handed story. No, it was a very simple story that told a very good lesson.
Yeah.
Like,
and maybe I just like that. Maybe I just prefer that than what the new trilogy is doing. Like, maybe the new trilogy does have that in there, and maybe I just like the version we got in the original trilogy better, you know? Like, maybe I'm comparing them too much rather than just letting the new movies be what they are. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that brings up another that kind of brings up another complaint. Well, not a complaint, but a thing I would always tell people, and people would just give me dirty looks when I'd say it. It's just like, Disney's doing new movies. They're moving forward with everything. With moving forward, there has to be change. You can't just keep those legacy characters around forever. So why are you so mad when they're getting rid of legacy characters? Like, what did you expect? This is how it's gonna be. Like, they're gonna need to move the story forward.
And then they bring back Palpatine.
Exactly. But like, I guess that's my point. Like, they can only keep some characters around for so long. Like, why are you getting agitated that like, you know, some of these characters are going? It's not like, look, did they come out in the first movie and wipe them all out? No, they didn't. So quit bitching. Like, I unfortunately think that there was other things planned, but with Carrie Fisher passing away, I think it kind of threw a wrench into what they were going to be able to do. I don't think that helped because they were doing a lot of reworking at the end of Last Jedi because of that situation. Because I felt like, in my mind, I felt like there was a place where we would have said our goodbyes to Han in the first one. We would have said our goodbyes to Luke in the second one, and then we would have said our goodbyes to Leia in the last one. And then,
which probably will happen,
right?
You know.
And then you keep the droids around because they're droids, and you just keep giving them more better other friends, and you wish them about, but they're droids, they can survive. So I don't know.
Right.
so that you kind of still give it some like its roots are still there, but like we've had to, like it's those movies are going on. Gosh, almost 50 years ago.
This is a long time.
So like,
and I mean, I would be so much more on board with that because that makes sense to do that. I would just be so much more on board if I liked these new characters as much as I should, because I just don't feel attached to them. Like I don't like I was saying with Rey, like I don't feel like she's been on much of a journey. Kylo more so has. You know what theory I actually really liked when Force Awakens came out was the theory that like Kylo and Rey were gonna switch sides. Like Rey was gonna like be drawn towards the dark side, and Kylo was gonna be drawn back more towards the light.
Oh yeah,
that would have been really interesting.
It
didn't happen, but
I don't know. I don't know whether I would have watched that.
Yeah, thought it would be cool, but
I mean, I feel like that would have been cool but predictable. Not that what we're getting now isn't cool but predictable, but like.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I would have gravitated it towards that as much.
Yeah. Well, they didn't go that way, so.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember back if I remember any of the theories floating around at any point. Whether I was
that they were siblings and.
That one I didn't mind as much, because that one kind of made sense to me in my head. The fact that they were both finding that. Excuse me, that they both had that in common, and that they had both lost their parents, and like they just happened to go down two very different paths. Like, I think that would have worked, but then again, that's not what happened either. I mean, who knows though at this point? Because like, I have a feeling we're gonna see a lot.
Rey is gonna have Kylo down with her weapon, and Kylo's gonna be like, "Save Leia," and she's gonna be like, "Leia." She's like, "That's my mom too, Leia." And then they're gonna become best friends.
Yeah,
and they're gonna defeat the Emperor together and save their mom.
Exactly. And then Kylo is gonna buy Rey's mom a house.
Probably.
Because she's about to lose it to the Galaxy Bank.
Yeah.
And Kylo just happens to own Galaxy Bank, or he bought it, and so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Dude, it could. Give us episode 9 with the BVS ending on it, man. How good would that be?
Let's do it.
No, dude. You know what really needs to happen? I mean, we're gonna say it now because we're gonna copyright the idea. Like, we've been dabbling with Fast and Furious in Space movie.
Oh yeah.
So, what's really gonna happen is they're gonna get into a pickle, and then all of a sudden, these two cars are gonna come flying out of space and land on the planet, and then Dom's gonna be like, "Get in." And then,
I wouldn't put it past him at this point.
And then she's gonna get in the car, and she's like, "What do we do?" And he's just like, "Hold on." And then he's like,
they hit the NOS.
He's gonna hit the perfect. And he's gonna hit the NOS. And then he's gonna like bank it off or ramp it off of a rock, and then they're gonna go into space.
Amazing.
And then in order to then they gotta go complete one last job, because you know how it is. They're always completing one last job.
Yeah.
And then that's when you bring in the Millennium Falcon, and
yeah,
because I mean, obviously that's the ship to do the last job on.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
And then they have to like drag race across the galaxy. Dude,
amazing, amazing.
Dude, it makes sense to me, man. How that movie doesn't make over $1 billion, I don't know.
I don't know.
People would go and see it, dude. You know it.
I know they would.
I
know they would.
It's sad, but like, you just put Fast and Furious presents Star Wars.
Yeah.
That there you go, dude. $1 billion idea. No.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. I guess we'll just wait and see what the movie is.
I mean, they still. I mean, obviously this is a teaser. There's hardly anything in it. We still have. It's middle of April. Movie doesn't come out until December.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna get like at least 2 or 3 more trailers. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure we'll get into it again at some point. Because we probably won't be able to not get into it because it'll be like. Because I know how this goes. It goes every time. I'll be like, dude, you see that Star Wars trailer? It's pretty dope. And you're going to text me back. You're like, no, it wasn't. Like, why? I thought this was stupid. And I'm like, well, it's not stupid, but like, I mean, come on. It was okay. Like, but it wasn't stupid, but you know.
No, I mean.
And then thus we'll start the conversation and then we'll be like on here going like, I'm like, dude, it wasn't stupid. And you're like, no, dude, it was stupid.
Palpatine. Dude,
I don't know. I'm okay with it. Give me Palpatine. Opening scene will be just like Rey in the Senate trying to get the Senate on board to fight the First Order.
What if we get a Force Ghost
Palpatine
fight?
Just floats out into the middle.
What if we get Force Ghost Luke versus Force Ghost Palpatine?
I'd pay to watch that.
You ever see Force Ghost fight?
No, dude, that'd be a first right there. Although probably what they will do is Palpatine will be pulling Kylo Ren further in and training him. Luke will be doing the same thing on the other side. And then passing on the torch to those two. And then they're going to get in some epic battle at the end. And then that's how they'll end the movie.
Where's Force Ghost Anakin at, man?
I don't know, still hanging out. Still hanging out at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Just with the Ewoks.
With the Ewoks. Like, I'm not even supposed to be here. Hey.
Or Force Ghost Obi-Wan. There's a couple of Force Ghosts out there, man. Where are they at?
I don't know, man. But I mean, dude, the Force can do anything now. We've learned that.
Apparently, yes.
So they'll just like turn themselves back. They'll make themselves solid again. And come pimp around. That's what they'll do.
Neat. I'd watch that.
Yeah. But all right, man. For all those listening, write a comment below what you think about the new trailer.
Yeah.
What you're thinking about the new teaser. Is it going to be a steaming pile of crap, or is it going to be a decent movie, or is it too soon to tell? You tell me.
Or will it just be okay?
Or it could be just okay and just
sometimes,
another Star Wars
sometimes
movie.
that happens, guys. Sometimes you don't have to love or hate a movie. Sometimes you can just think a movie is okay.
It's just okay.
Like, you don't always have to be 100% on each end of the spectrum.
It's like Captain Marvel. It's okay.
There's lots of people out there, man. They think if they gotta love or hate a movie. They can't just.
Yeah, there's no middle ground. Yeah. I either love this or I hate this. There's no.
Yeah.
It can't be. It's like it can't be it has to be a good movie or a bad movie. Mm-hmm. It can't be a mediocre to okay movie.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. We can get on that topic another time.
Yes. All right. Well, let us know.
Let us know. Thanks for joining us this week.
Until next time.
Like, subscribe. That's what all the other YouTubers do, right? Like, subscribe, do all those fun things.
Yeah, but I'm not like the other YouTubers.
Okay, so don't like and don't subscribe. Later.
Bye,
guys.